Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. It's been a while. I'm James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin. For you guys that don't know, of course, we are presented by our loyal sponsor, FanDuel. So make sure to go check them out if you guys are planning on partaking in any of the sports gambling world. They are the only place to go to. But we, of course, are back. It's been a while. We're here to talk about the news. As you guys can see in the title, the Ravens have hired a new head coach, Jesse Minter. And we're here to give our thoughts on it. So let's dig right into it. But first of all, Glenn, how you doing, man?
Yeah, doing well. Excited to be back on the mic. It's been maybe the longest break we've taken. Surprisingly, it's certainly up there in the 6 or 7. How long have we been doing this now? 7 years?
This is going into year 7.
That is crazy to think about, but excited nonetheless. I mean, look, there was always a bit of sadness to watch Harbaugh end his tenure being fired after 18 years of really a successful run here, and being the best coach that we've ever had in a sense of accomplishment. Brought a Super Bowl here, was here for a very long time, but excited about some change and about a different voice, different leadership, different direction. And so that change is going to be the hiring of Jesse Minter, most recently of the San Diego Chargers. LA Chargers. I'm still saying San Diego Chargers, Jimbo. Most recently of the LA Chargers under Jim Harbaugh, of course, and then previously was with him, Jim Harbaugh, also at Michigan when they won the national championship. But to give a little bit more of a background on what the Ravens are getting, who they're getting in Jesse Minter. Let's see. He's 42 years old, born in, I think, is Little Rock, Arkansas, to a father head coach. Does that sound familiar? Right? Like John Harbaugh, kind of similar there. Rick Minter is his father, who's a longtime coach at Cincinnati. 10 years he spent as the head coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats. Let's see here. Jesse Minter, as a player, rose only to Division III college football as a wide receiver, but then quickly got into coaching starting in 2006 under Charlie Weiss back at Notre Dame. He was a defensive intern. 2007 and 8, he was a graduate assistant at Cincinnati, working under his father's leadership, it looks to be. Or no, I'm sorry, under Brian Kelly. I'm sorry. In 2009, 2010, he was the linebackers coach at Indiana State, and then ultimately took over in 11 and 12 as the defensive coordinator at Indiana State. And I think what was pretty cool to hear about his time there is he was nominated as Defensive Coach of the Year in college football, despite the fact doing that at Indiana State, which is pretty crazy to think. He also replicated that nomination in his time at Michigan when they won the national championship. 2013 to 2016, he was the defensive coordinator at Georgia State. 17 and 18, he started his tenure as a defensive assistant for the Baltimore Ravens. In 2019, he was promoted to assistant defensive backs coach, and then ultimately in 2020, promoted once again to the defensive backs coach under Don Wink Martindale and coaching alongside Mike McDonald. In 2021, he was the defensive coordinator and safeties coach at Vanderbilt under another storied head coach. In 22 and 23, he was the defensive coordinator at Michigan under Jim Harbaugh, where, again, he was nominated for Defensive Coach of the Year. He led them to, in his first season, number 1 in yards, and in his second season, a national championship and number 1 in points. Also, Jimbo, in that final year at Michigan, all 11 starters on his defense were named to either first or second team All Big Ten, while, again, being first in the nation in points allowed and winning a national championship. He then followed Jim Harbaugh from Michigan to L.A. to become the defensive coordinator with the Chargers, where, again, I mean, a huge turnaround on the defensive side of things. What he was able to do there, he turned in 2023 before Minter. The Chargers defense was 24th in points. They were 28th in yards, and they were 30th in pass defense.
Yeah.
And 24th in EPA. In his first season, they went from 24th in points to first in points. They went from 28th in yards to 11th in yards. They went from 30th pass defense to the 7th, and they went from 24th in EPA, which is efficiency, to 5th. So a massive, massive turnaround. He's also been in the top 5 in red zone defense and third down in both his seasons as a defensive coordinator. And now here he is leading your Baltimore Ravens. Jimbo, what did you think? What did you feel? How are you feeling right now? Tell me it all.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out where to start. My first reaction was I'm not like overly excited. In fact, I was probably a little no, I wasn't probably. I'm
Oh, you
still
called me. You were
Yeah,
pissed.
I'm upset. I'm pretty hot. I mean, you guys saw the text message. And this is not a knock on Jesse. I want to kind of explain this properly in a way that is not going to be overly negative towards him, but there's a few things that I'm starting to notice as a trend with Eric DeCosta that I don't know I saw as a trend with Ozzie that are a bit alarming. I just feel like it's starting to feel a little bit like a boys club. It's starting to feel private schoolish to me, like cliquish. And if he doesn't, think about all the connections he has to Jesse Minter outside the fact that he was here. Joe Ortiz, the Harbaughs. Like, it would have been nice if we pissed on another tree. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we would have gone somewhere else and just said, let us uproot ourselves from the situation instead of, trying to take a second fiddle a second fiddle to Mike McDonald, right? Like Jim Harbaugh's first try at Michigan, he didn't call Minter. He called McDonald, right? Like that. All I'm saying is like, I'm not knocking the guy. I just feel like we have the most attractive opening in the NFL. And I'm not going to change my mind, but I could be wrong. I would have rather had Stefanski. 2-time NFL head coach, proven commodity. You got a team that's ready to win now. The other thing I get concerned about with him is like he's been in the league for how many years? He's only been with the Chargers in the league before he was, in like a capacity that's like coordinator or higher. Before that, when he was with the Ravens, it was a much lower capacity. Honestly, no one knew who he was, right? Unless you were super plugged in on the Ravens. Can he build a staff? I mean, he's barely dipping his toe in the water here in the league for the most part, as far as being someone with a face and a presence. I don't know if he can build a staff and having an OC that's there. What does this do for Lamar and gaining Lamar's respect and saying, okay, Lamar, we want to magnify you and all that you're worth and do what's best for our most valuable asset and our quarterback. And all those things came to my mind immediately. And I really thought we could have done better than Jesse Minter. I don't know a nicer way to say that. I was just underwhelmed. Yeah, Devon said it right there. Yeah, I was just underwhelmed and I don't know, not excited about it so far. I know he's a good DC. I know he's done great things, but he's so young in the league. His tenure as like somebody of real consequence is so little, Glenn. That concerns me. To have the reason it concerns me is because we're not the Browns. We're not the Dolphins. We're not the Titans. Right? We're not the Falcons. We have the job. We are the belle of the ball. That really is what concerns me the most. I feel like, is there more we could have done here? Right? It would have been nice to see them hire him and pair him up with an OC that we all really like. Remember when remember when we hired Kubiak? But I feel like it was like a twofer almost. I'm trying to remember what happened there, but if it would have been nice if there was like, hey, these guys are gonna work together. If we find out tomorrow we have somebody in tow that we really like to be the OC, but I don't know what this does with Lamar.
Well, I agree that the offensive coordinator position hire will be huge for this guy. Huge. But here's where I'm excited. First, I think that the Ravens organization was built on strong defense, and we have gotten very, very far away from that. This is no longer a feared defensive unit. This is a soft defensive unit that oftentimes looks to try and hang on and not lose games rather than go and win and make plays to close the game. So I am excited that they are going towards a guy who is going to rebuild and then rebuild the defense. And then the thing that I am you and a lot of Ravens fans, and me included, would have been happy if they would have hired Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald comes from the Harbaugh tree. That seems to be bothering you, but you would have been happy with Mike. He had very little experience, 1 year in college as a play caller, and then immediately into the pros. So less experience than what Minter has. Less play calling experience, yet less defensive coordinator experience than what Jesse Minter has. But yet we would have been happy. But
why is it? This is my question. I see what you're saying, but why is Jesse always second to Mike?
Well, I don't know if
situation.
He was. Well, I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's the fairest way to look at it. I mean, I guess I see what you're saying. At Michigan, he was the he was the first guy that they picked.
Well,
but,
and Mike got the call here, not Jesse, to be DC.
Well, Jesse, yeah, that's true. That's true. That is a fact. He did get
Both
that.
Harbaughs have chosen him second. Multiple times.
I see what you're saying there.
But I also agree with you.
Again,
that, like,
Mike wasn't available. So
yeah, if the name is different, then you do feel better. But
let me also
yeah.
Everywhere he goes, there's a massive improvement on the defensive side of things. Everything I've heard. Now, I think DK is going to be periodically kind of throwing things up, but I've heard a lot of people talk about him. I've seen, let's see. Oh man, that's okay. There it goes. All right. So this is Ryan Mink. Of course, he, Ryan Mink, I love that he loves the hire, but he has to love the hire.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's paid to love it.
Yeah, he's being paid very handsomely by the team to say nothing but glowing things. And look, I do agree. It's got a lot of similarities to Coach Harbaugh, who none of us knew who the hell he was. It was a bit of a risk when the Ravens hired him.
Yeah.
18 years later, turned out to be, a Hall of Fame guaranteed first ballot head coach who knows where he'll end up once his time in New York is over. The big thing I love, incredibly detailed teacher, players coach who players love to play under and feel that they are always at the extremely prepared heading into their matchup. I've heard from Derwin James, who I know one person who's happy. It's got to be Kyle Hamilton, right?
Yeah.
Because Derwin James was an All-Pro this year, playing that star role that we heard a lot from Mike McDonald his time in Michigan, and Jesse Minter runs a similar style of defense and uses that star role as well. And we expect Kyle Hamilton to play in that role. And what he got out of Derwin James, who's also a great player, was everything you could get out of a player. It seems like he's a guy who can deal with the adversity of losing guys due to injury. They lost a ton of guys defensively and yet still maintained a defensive excellence despite, losing a pass rusher here, you losing your leading tackler there. I love that about him. I love that he's a coaching, lifer. His entire life has been dedicated to football and to coaching. Do you have any more? Look, okay, let's hear from Derwin James. I mean, Derwin James is a pretty good expert on this topic, and so DK is going to share it now. Let's see what Derwin has to say about Jesse Minter.
You feel like Minter would make a good head coach?
Yeah. He make whatever you want to be. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because he's that guy. He's that leader, alpha. Man, he's not looking around. He alpha, man. The guys play hard for him, man. And I just feel like he's just that dude, man. Every day you know what you're going to get with him. He consistent, man.
Are you worried that
I ain't worried about that right now, man. We locked in right now. We're going to keep going. Hopefully, man, he ain't going nowhere. Hopefully. Need that boy.
Yeah, and of course, Derwin James, he doesn't have to go into that type of detail and talk about how much he loves that guy. But it's not just him. It's not just the guys who are playing for him. But if DK has it ready, I know there's guys that have played against him that rave about his defensive mind. I love when they talk about the adjustments this guy can make. This guy is one of those brilliant defensive minds that we're all hearing. And what I think I love the most is everything I've seen from the statements from the front office, from the ownership, and then the voices from his former players and coaches. They talked about he is a bona fide leader of men, and we both talked about no matter what side they go, if they go offensive mind, they go defensive mind, if they go that CEO type that we had with Tomlin and Harbaugh, he has to be a leader first and foremost. Everything I'm seeing, the first thing they say when they talk about him is leader of men. And so while I agree with you in some ways, I was kind of hoping they'd go off the Harbaugh tree. I also sat back and thought, well, there's a lot of things we loved about Harbaugh and loved about the culture he built here. And we used to always say, look at what these players that come from other organizations come here and they talk about and they rave about the organization here and how it's handled. Well, I kind of like that he knows what that expectation is. He knows what playing like a Raven is. He knows what the culture was like here. And so maybe it's not so bad that he's off the Harbaugh tree in the sense that there's a lot of good things that came with that Harbaugh package. But let's listen to Travis Kelce talk about as an opponent dealing with Jesse Minter's defense on the other side.
You can do it, DK.
And to be honest, that dude, I mean, he has got shit figured out.
Yeah, he's killing it.
I mean, I was talking to Pat, and there was one time in the game where it was a big third down, I think, and he put together a blitz that we had not seen before on tape, and got us pretty good there. But yeah, shout out to Jesse. He's absolutely killing it. Coach Minter, couldn't be more proud to say that I was once your scout team quarterback, and to be honest, that dude, I mean, he is.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff's definitely getting me excited, Glenn. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love to hear all that stuff. I worry about our offense. I worry about, what we're going to get out of Lamar. I worry, but ultimately there's only one way that would have been answered for me, and that would have been an offensive coordinator turned to head coach. So, you need a head coach first and foremost. That's what you need first.
Yeah.
I just saw Eric Weddle just said that he'll have the same impact as Mike McDonald did in Seattle.
I know how much you value Eric
Yeah.
Weddle.
Yeah. I mean, he's a smart football player, right? Like Eric Weddle was not in the NFL because he was some crazy athlete. Now, he was a crazy athlete, but certainly not to the level of like not needing
like
to
Derwin
be
James or
not needing to be incredibly cerebral as a player, right? So I
were you at least? I was at least happy that it wasn't like Salah.
Oh my gosh! If it would have been,
see, I don't like Stefanski in a sense. He's had some
some big issues for sure.
But he's also had no quarterback, so I got to give him when he had Baker, he did win Coach of the Year, and that's the closest thing he's had to a quarterback.
Didn't he win it 2 times?
I believe he only won it once with Baker.
Okay.
The year they made the playoffs. But
yeah,
so I'm not I just think Stefanski might be better suited as an offensive coordinator, kind of like Mike McDaniel, but. It's hard to judge a guy who's never had a quarterback. It's kind of
I'll tell you what, man. If I would have had Salah's here, I would have said, dude, why are you taking this job?
Who?
Salah. I don't understand why the Titans hired him.
I know.
A sidebar, but what does this do for Cam Ward? Same idea. This does nothing for Cam Ward.
And he was not good as a defensive coordinator this year for the Niners. Not good.
Right. I mean,
not good. They were terrible. They were a god-awful defense. I don't understand it. God-awful defense. They couldn't tackle. I mean, they were banged up too, but.
I think ultimately, and I don't know who I was. Obviously, I really wanted Clint Kubiak to be in here. I just had visions, Glenn, of that offense back in Ryan Ripken just had his dad, Gary Kubiak, on the show.
Yeah.
He talked about his 1-year stop here in Baltimore, and I changed his career, right? Gave him an opportunity to get back in the playbook, to learn from John, prep him for that run he went on with the Broncos. And man, I was just remembering that year. I remember the vertical passes. I remember the play action game. I remember the effectiveness of the run offense. I'm like, you start to envision those things, and then, when you go the other way, it's like, dang.
But you know what? I think we look back on certain things just like we do in most things in life with a little bit of a rose-colored glasses.
Sure.
I remember that year. To Joe had his best year, right?
Yeah.
I remember his touchdown interception was 25-10. So just think about Lamar's done way better than that. It's not even close.
Yeah.
So it's he was great. But I just don't know. Maybe Clint wasn't the leader that they were expecting when he went through the interview process. I think it's very possible.
Well, and this, once again, for better or for worse, Glenn, I believe that could be the case. But I also believe that Eric over-indexes a little bit on his buddies. I think that's just, I know you got to use
Bisciotti made this hire.
Bisciotti said in his interview, he said, I want very much for this hire to come from Eric. That was a quote from Bisciotti, right? So, of course, he had the final say.
Yeah,
but
he's got the power. Remember, he said that.
Yeah,
I got the power.
Lamar. Yeah, for sure. But this guy, Eric, he's going to buy John's house. Eric's going to have a new neighbor that shares a fence with.
Wouldn't that be some shit? That would be hilarious. Now, I see Davis Webb as the OC. I love that, although I don't think he'd be here long. Apparently, Davis Webb is another hot name in the coaching carousel.
Wait, he's our OC now?
No. They're. I think Gene is hoping for that, but.
See, he said gave, so I was like.
Oh,
what? Did he just get hired?
Maybe it's give. Maybe they make.
Maybe meant to say give. Yeah, and then No Crust says he made Owe a stud. He did absolutely. And look, we need
7.5 sacks in 12 games for them.
Yeah,
and he did it. He did it with a bunch of scratch. I am so sick and tired of watching our defense stink up the joint. I'm so tired of being the leader in blown leads in the fourth quarter over how many year stretch, and it's not even close. It was a wide margin between where the Ravens were and next worst was. So I love that we're going to get back to being a defense, and I think Lamar is so damn good that no matter – imagine Lamar with a – I mean, we've seen it actually. I was going to say imagine Lamar with a top 5 defense. We were the number 1 seed. I mean, so – I like the fact that we're getting this defense figured out.
Yeah, I want to search something. Really, I agree with you. I mean, obviously we need that, but I wanted to see here.
Bring back quickly. Chuck Smith. Yeah, the rush doctor.
Oh my God.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm warming up. It's gonna take me some time. My overwhelming concern is that I guess I wanted someone young. This is what I asked for, but gosh dang it.
He's not that young. I thought he was younger than me. He's 42.
No, but I mean, young as in he's been a coordinator for 2 years, right?
But you would have loved Mike.
Yeah.
And he had less.
I mean, he was here. He did it here.
He did, but.
I had questions, though, about Mike's personality because we didn't get to see much of it. Like his ability to galvanize into.
Well, personality-wise, this guy is a player's coach, leader. The players love him. I mean, I was watching him coach a stunt maneuver
with Irwin.
With Derwin, yeah,
Derwin, yeah.
Correct, like the detail. I'm excited about. He seems like a nerd for some football, and so did John. But John was just old. I think that's a good point. He did win the national championship at Michigan, where Mike fell short.
Sure. College football is a whole
I'm just
different
saying.
conversation to me. You're right.
Number one defense, and all 11 starters were first or second team all Big Ten.
Right. So then the question becomes, is the players, is the coach? Right?
Well,
in college where it's like
both, yeah.
You know, Jim left a big old scandal because he was doing Lord knows what to get guys to go to Michigan, right? Like,
hey, nah, it's on the next guy, Sharon Moore or whatever.
Yeah.
It was on him.
Now they finally got a glass of whole milk over there.
Yeah, it's definitely not had anything to do with Jim, right? That Jim squeaky clean.
Nothing.
Squeaky clean. Jesse Minter's defense with the Chargers were elite conversion units. Look at this. I love to see this because let's be honest, red zone and third down is probably the two. I mean, and turnovers are the most important metric on defense. There's no doubt about it. And they were first in red zone in 24, fourth in 25. Again, massive injuries last year too. And they still had, a fantastic unit. I mean, fifth in both years in third down conversions. You got to get teams off the field. How many times are we furious of Zach Orr's play call on third down?
Oh, trust me, Glenn. I'm so excited to not see Zach Orr on the sideline, to not deal with Zach Orr's play call. That for sure, I could not be more thrilled about. I can't emphasize that enough. I just, I don't know I really have to think about this. There's more out there, I feel like, that I wanted to do more for our offense. I wanted to do more for our quarterback. And let's wait.
Yet. Can we see who? Because I do think you're right, and it is a huge, important hire. Who he decides to go with his offensive coordinator? What type of style of offense does he?
And can he build a staff?
That's a good question. Again, I mean, we're gonna have to rely on the fact that in the past, how have the Ravens done his hiring?
Yeah, Eric's going to call up his other buddies and say, you want a coordinator job?
Oh, my goodness. You know what? I trust that the Ravens hired a good guy because that's all they've ever done. They've never hired a bad head coach, ever. Not once.
You're not wrong.
But they have got to nail it on the offensive coordinator. What type of, do you want to, I assume you want to be on the Shanahan, Kubiak, scheme tree.
I definitely want to see more play action, right?
Yes,
I want to see commitment to the run. I want to see play action, and I want to see vertical passing. Those three things are what I absolutely want to see. And obviously, all that happens in that type of an offense, right?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Better not be Greg Roman. God, no, Gene. Gene.
There's no chance Roman's coming back.
No.
Zero chance.
No. Heck no. Yeah, no. I mean, it will be
Roman needs to – he would get his juice back if he stopped losing all that weight. He needs to get the food back in him. You know what I mean?
Is that it?
He's looking a little too skinny, dude.
That's
He's losing
the problem.
The juice. Yeah, man.
No, his brain's not functioning. He's just
right,
calorie
bro. Got to get it
deficit.
back. Got that right. A deficit. That's right. How
No, I
many
mean, but
calories
look,
does a coordinator burn during a football game? Just
probably
from
a
their brain,
lot.
right?
Probably.
Who do you want as a DC now? Honestly, DK,
Doesn't matter.
I don't care. From
Yeah,
the
because he's the
DC.
defensive play caller. So I don't know if it matters too much, but offensive coordinator, because he's going to have his fingerprints all over the defense.
It's a
I
bummer
hope
that
whoever
McDonald
it
is gone. That not McDonald, McDaniel's gone. I would have liked to see him here as the OC.
That would have been a great pairing.
Yeah, and he's out in LA now with Jim Harbaugh, of course.
No, hell no, they don't bring back Orr. No, DK. Don't say okay. So when we said we don't care, we do care a little bit. It can't be that guy. Okay.
Right. And I few people are talking about Joe Brady. Don't. Joe Brady has, and maybe this is on the the staff that they've been able to put around the team they've been able to put around Allen, but they're just Superman ball to me. That's all they do. They say, Josh, here. It's third down. Run around like a chicken with your head cut off.
Well, that could be Josh. That could be how Josh plays.
That's fair, but I don't want to
ran
touch
the ball
Joe Brady.
a lot. They ran the ball the last 2 years a lot more than they did before he was
and he
there.
just got fired. No, the OC got fired. So I don't want Joe Brady. I'm good with that because I feel like we've watched Josh run.
What about Cliff? Apparently, Diana Rossini's saying Cliff Kingsbury.
I mean, he did great things with Jaden Daniels before he got hurt, right? The first year they were there.
He did. I just don't know if I'm ready to go for that pass happy of an offense. I
don't know if I agree with you there. And I also don't know if a guy like Lamar, like, I don't know if I were Lamar, I would look at Cliff and be like, this is the thing. There's pressure on Lamar to make this relationship work.
Oh, for sure. Well,
not that his other two haven't.
He needs to win. He's 29.
He's got to win. There's pressure on Lamar. This is not all the blame the OC, blame the OC. If anybody wants to blindly blame everybody else but Lamar, this is not the time to do it in this coming season because you're right, Glenn. He is in the absolute prime dead center of his career. He has to get it done. So there's pressure on him to make this relationship work, right? You can't go, it was Roman. Oh, it was Monken. You got to figure it out. There's something you don't like, go talk to him. If there's something that you want to do more, go sit down and talk, right? Like, you got to figure this thing out. I know that Monken took some blame for that, but at this point, there is more pressure on Lamar and the OC relationship than ever before. I think that's fair to say. But with all that being said,
boy, why is somebody saying Davis Webb hasn't been confirmed or anything, right?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. I keep seeing that name pop up. Davis Webb is OC. I don't know if they're saying it as if it's fact or they're hoping for it. Yeah, he's been the Broncos quarterbacks coach and offensive game pass game coordinator. So, and of course I remember him when he was a quarterback for Houston Texans, wasn't he? Davis Webb. I thought he was like the number one. This is literally all off memory. I thought he was like the number one high school quarterback coming out, and then he kind of had a disappointing college career, and then was with the Houston Texans for a little bit, but never did anything as a player. I hope I'm not just so completely wrong with this. Somebody's gonna be like, this guy's completely way off. But that's what I remember if I'm correct. And then what about Brian Dable as the offensive coordinator, former offensive coordinator in Buffalo, ultimately head coach in the New York Giants, and then was fired, clearing the way for John Harbaugh.
What are your thoughts on Dable? I've given my thoughts again first.
Dable is another pass first type of guy. So I don't know if I think I want a run focused offense still with deep shots, play action pass. But I want a run focused offense still. I think that's the core of what the Baltimore Ravens are, is a tough, hard nosed physical defense paired with a physical run first offense that play action passes off that run game. I think that would be, he says Brian is a hothead. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we definitely have to get someone who will connect and work well with Lamar Jackson. That's got to be the first and foremost kind of focus for Jesse Minter. But I am ultimately excited about Jesse. I think he's going to do a great job. I like that he's young. I like that he's not a retread. He's had a ton of poor experience.
I am happy about that at the least. Like, some of the guys that they were cycling through, I was like, what? Like, I understand you got to cast a wide net, but man.
Well, I think what they did too, Jimbo, is they used those 17 interviews to learn I mean, think how much they learned about themselves and how other people view them, other great minds kind of view them.
Well, and how to get what you want out of the coaches.
Yeah.
Eric's
true.
never done this before. He's never been through this before. Well, I guess I'm sure in some capacity with John, but not as the guy.
Right. Not as the guy.
You know, I mean,
but I
back
got to
in the day
imagine
when John
Ozzy
got
was
hired-
heavily involved too.
Yeah, for sure. But when John was hired, Eric had a full head of hair. I mean, does anyone actually remember what Eric looks like with hair? There's probably
No.
kids that weren't even born that are Ravens fans when Eric had hair. You know, they weren't even alive, right? I was watching a game the other day with a kid born in 2008. What?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
So it's been a long time is my point. I am nervous. I'm nervous about a few things. I'm nervous about it not being offensive focused. I'm nervous about Lamar hasn't tweeted about it yet.
No.
So
has he not for sure? Has anyone checked?
I just checked his Twitter.
Okay. Apparently he's a good looking guy too, Jesse Minter.
Jesse Minter?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, well.
I don't know if that
There's
matters.
only a few of us around these days, you know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, nobody's Jimmy Haskell.
I was including you in that group.
Oh,
You know, it's
okay.
like me,
All right.
you, Jesse Minter, DK. Like, that's kind of short.
Yep.
You know, Cam, our kid. That's about as far as it goes. You know?
Mm-hmm. What do you got here, DK? He looks like he's trying to share something with us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is the statement from owner Steve Bisciotti on the hiring of Jesse Minter. He says, Jesse was impressive throughout our incredibly thorough interview process. He clearly understands the values, high expectations, and history of the Ravens, and he has a great vision for the future. Jesse's football acumen is outstanding, and that's been proven by the impact he's made throughout his entire coaching career. He is also a leader who will authentically connect with our players and inspire them to championship levels. I want to thank Eric DaCosta, Sashi Brown, and our entire selection committee for the work they poured into this process. It was clear to us that Jesse is a special talent who has what it takes to lead us as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. I watched Eric work very closely with John Harbaugh for years. It was evident how excited he and Sashi are to now partner with Jesse as our organization strives to chase championships. So, it was pretty clear to Steve Bisciotti. I mean, they got him back very quickly for his second interview. Obviously made it clear to him their intentions because he quickly, after being a finalist for multiple jobs, canceled the rest of his scheduled interviews, including one with the Cleveland Browns, as he kind of zeroed in on his intentions on signing with the Ravens. I mean, I get why someone would be frustrated that that he wanted to go for an offensive mind because, I kind of bounce back and forth on what I would prefer in that regard. Although, again, I never kind of picked a side. I said I'd be okay with either one as long as that person is first and foremost a leader of men. And it seems like that's who they got. But I get why people, were hopeful for an offensive guy because of Lamar's, his window's getting smaller as far as taking advantage of the talent that he is before it starts to dwindle away with age, which it's going to get everyone. So I get that. But ultimately, I think this is a hire for not just the next 4 years, 5 years. This is a hire for the next 15 to 20 years, as shown by the history of this franchise and recently of John Harbaugh being here 18 years. Let's get a young guy, defensive genius, brilliant mind. And what I loved hearing from Jim Harbaugh talk about him is he said, the thing that makes this guy so special is that as brilliant as he is defensively, he knows offensive football almost just as much. So he knows what the offense is going to do before they do it when they want to counter what he's trying to do. And I think that is certainly important if you're going to be a defensive head coach, is to know both sides of the ball. So, yeah, I'm happy, but we'll be, of course, giving our take on the offensive side of things once that hire's been made clear.
Sorry, DK. Yeah, I agree. Quan410 says, can we get OC that keeps Tez Walker on the field? Yeah,
Whoa.
Great point.
That was a quick one.
That's okay. You're good, DK. Yeah, you're good.
There you go. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we want to
Quan.
see Tez on the field more for sure.
It's our guy.
That's right.
And
Let's see.
super untapped talent that just needs to be out there more.
Vertical passing is what we want more of it.
Let's do it.
More of it. All right, DK, you're going to throw. And then, guys, how crazy it is that we've had two historic OCs, Monken and Roman, and both went away from what we're known for in the playoffs. Get back to Raven way. Yeah. I mean, and at the very least, I like that he comes in. Obviously, he was part of the staff here in the past. And so there is some of, what you're going to get. So you do have an advantage there. We need to get a good OC. Just as important as this hire is, we need to get a good OC. Maybe not just as important, but a 1B type scenario. But I think that's it for us tonight.
Well, actually, quickly,
go
I
ahead.
want to pull up the
Sorry,
odds
DK.
for this weekend's matchups. As you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
know,
yeah,
there's
my
four
bad, my
teams
bad, my bad.
left. And man, that's gonna calm down, Jimmy. Seattle Seahawks are now the odds-on favorite, it looks like, to win the whole damn thing, and it rightfully so. They looked incredibly impressive over the weekend, putting a beat down on the San Francisco 49ers.
How many points did they put up?
I think it was 40. It was 40 something to
Yeah.
6, like 44-6 or something. It was
They
a
must have a
complete
good offensive
beatdown.
coordinator.
And a defensive
Who's their quarterback?
head coach. Sam Darnold, former top pick in the NFL, brother.
Yeah, it might have been 84 with Lamar. Switch those numbers around.
What more do you want? And then followed by the Rams at plus 200. Then the Patriots at plus 250, which kind of surprises me there. It looks like they're predicting this to be the NFC's to lose.
Yeah,
And
I
then
agree with that.
the poor Denver Broncos. I mean, it just
Yeah.
makes you wonder that plus 1,100, what it would have been had Bo Nix not.
Yeah.
Dude, freakish injury. If you guys haven't seen it, it is insane. All he's doing is trying to kneel the ball to center in the hashes for his field goal kicker, and he somehow breaks his ankle in the second to last play on a kneel down, folks. Like, he snaps the ball, walks 2 feet to his right, kneels down, breaks his ankle, and he's gone for the rest of the playoffs. Like, what the hell? I felt so bad for that guy, for the fans. I mean, that just sucks. But plus 1,100, obviously a long shot now with Jared Stidham stepping in as the new starter. But, man, it really makes you wonder who would have been the favorite in this weekend and how this would have looked had Bo Nix not broken his ankle.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Seattle is I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams come out with that dub, though. They're the more veteran team, I feel like. But deservedly so, the Seahawks have the best odds. All that being said, you guys stay safe in the weather. Enjoy the game. Stay in the house. And I think that's it for us tonight.
Yeah, of course, we'll be back as soon as more news breaks about the Ravens coaching staff.
Otherwise.
How he builds this roster or this coaching staff will be an interesting thing to keep. And do they keep, the special teams stuff? I hope they don't. I hope they do a complete revamp. I don't care what Jordan Stout did as a punter. Our kickoff units was absolutely terrible. So that's it for us tonight, though, folks. We will talk to you soon. See you.
See ya.